Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, drawn alongside of my good co-host Dylan. Joining you from a freezing, frigid day here in Edmonton at 9 o'clock. I think it's minus 28 out today, which I think is like minus 18 Fahrenheit for all you American listeners out there. Uh, First day without TikTok in the U.S. as well on January 19th, 2025. How are we doing, Dylan, today?
Uh, Fine. Gonna have to find a new spot to find my edits, but that's fine.
How's the football been? We were kind of talking about it last night when we were playing Xbox, but what have your thoughts been on the playoffs so far, and who do you think's gonna win the Super Bowl? Probably the
Once,
Chiefs, but
I was about to say once again, if you bet against Mahomes, that's at your own risk. They've given me zero reason to not pick them. I've been that case all season. They just find ways to win games. Their defense is firing on all cylinders. Obviously, the biggest shock is the Commanders basically punched the Lions in the mouth last night, 45-31. Jane Daniels becomes like the first rookie quarterback to make a conference championship, and I think since Ben Roethlisberger. Don't quote me on that though.
Great company to be in.
Yeah, but it's been a pretty wild playoff so far. The Lions losing benefits the Bears because we'll get to see if where Ben Johnson's going to end up, which kind of speed runs the process of us getting a coach, which is kind of what I'm waiting on right now. But 100%. I mean, the playoffs have been. It's not been the most entertaining playoff. I'm gonna say it's been the playoffs are always good, but I don't know. I can think of a couple better ones in the last couple years, but they've been competitive, which is really all you can ask for.
Yeah, and speaking of competitive, actually the opposite of competitive, let's talk about the Chicago Blackhawks. Well, they are competitive against good competitive teams. They just aren't so great against teams that are kind of more to their level. And last episode we went on like a huge therapeutic cathartic rant about the Blackhawks, and we talked a lot about the player performances, but I don't think we've talked much about the games in like the past month or so. And maybe the most like frustrating thing about this team that makes me believe they should be better. Like we've listed off stats like, oh well, their penalty kill is top 5 in the league, their power play is top half, like they've scored the first goal like the most out of any NHL teams. Like I don't know if that's their number one right now, but like they're definitely at the front of the league for doing so. Like there's so many stats you would look at and see, okay, this team shouldn't be 32nd in the NHL. And just looking at like they beat Vegas last night 5-3. Vegas, one of the best teams in the NHL, a perennial cup contender, but then they'll lose a game to a team like Calgary. Again, Calgary is better than them, but to me, like Calgary is closer to them than Chicago is to Vegas. So well, it was nice to see them beat a great team like Vegas last night, and seeing all their star players perform, like Seth Jones answering the call of him playing so bad recently. I mean, that game against Calgary was just brutal. Like that, him blowing a tire and then like just turning the puck over on that power play, just god awful. Nothing you should ever expect out of anyone, let alone your $9.5 million defenseman. So yeah, it was nice to see him answer back with a goal last night, 2 assists. Tyler Bertuzzi had 2 goals, kind of just continuing to be red hot there. And like looking at that first line, Bertuzzi, Bedard, Nazar, like it's nice that they're going with a first line that has offensive talent at the top and is getting some good looks, as opposed to them just splitting it up. So yeah, this team not really going to go anywhere. Like they're probably going to finish last, though. I think I looked earlier, like San Jose does have a worse points percentage than them, and I think they're going to sell off some guys at the deadline. But yeah, we're gearing for another top 3 pick, but I mean, still 35 games left. There's still time for guys like Lucas Reichel, who was really flying out there, showing his skill last night, and that's another thing that's kind of frustrating to me. But I'm rambling on. What have your thoughts been on the Blackhawks, like their actual like gameplay in the last month or so?
They can't play a full 60 minutes.
No.
I think that's the biggest takeaway. I mean, obviously they have parts of games where they play well. Like you said, they start off strong. In the third, they usually play terribly. Second period, they let it slip away from them all the time. It's just a team that doesn't play complete hockey because they're not a complete team. And there's really only so much you can say about a team that is like 6 points in last place. There's not much you can really talk about there. I mean, in terms of like small bright sides, I guess, like you said, the power play has been doing well. I think since the coaching change, a couple players have played a lot better, specifically Bertuzzi. But obviously players have not played as well since the coaching change. And you look at someone like Seth Jones, that was probably his best game last night since the change. But I mean, you take a look at just, the points that they're putting up and whatnot. It's just not a deep team. Like it just comes down to that. It's just not a deep hockey team. Your 10th leading scorer is 14 points. And I promise you, I can go look at another team. Like, let's just go look at not even one of the top teams in the conference. Let's look at Calgary, who's in the second wild card right now, and see what their depth scoring is looking like. Oh, well, their depth scoring actually isn't that good, but that's because Calgary has an elite goaltender. So,
yeah,
that kind of changes things. But the point is basically like you look at Vegas, for instance. Like Vegas, obviously they lost 5 of the last 6. They're not playing their best hockey right now, but this is a team that's proven time and time. Like they're not playing their best hockey and they're still in first place. I think that speaks volumes on just how good of a team they are, how their team's structured, everything out of that nature. And then you look at a team like them, their 10th leading scorer is 19 points. They have 5 players with 30 or more points. The Blackhawks have 2. They have 9 players with 20 or more, 21 or more. The Blackhawks, I think, have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, Foligno just jumped into that group. But it just comes down to that. I feel like they're just not a deep team, and they have nice pieces, but I think we talked about it time and time again. Until they get another play driver in that lineup, this is kind of what they are at this point. You're going to have to play situational hockey, and it sucks because this is a team that is good on the power play, but they can't draw penalties because they don't have the puck. And
they don't have fast enough, play drive. Like, that's why I think, Frank Nazar coming up and how he's been playing, he's drawing a lot of penalties, but they just don't have a lot of guys like that have that kind of speed and have puck possession. That's how you draw penalties, and that's why I think someone like Lucas Reichel getting going would be huge for this team, but I'm just not convinced because he's been so inconsistent. Also, the coaching staff isn't really giving him the time or the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, they don't really have faith in him.
No.
I like the line he's on now, but it's another one of those players where he's just got to earn his ice time, and I don't know if that's fair to him, but that's the situation he's been dealt.
Yeah, I totally get why from the coaching staff why they wouldn't want to play him because he's just so inconsistent. But then that's why it's so frustrating because you see the kind of game he has last night, and you see exactly why this organization drafted him. What was it, 16th, 17th overall in 2020? But yeah, just not consistent enough to do it. So I get why the coaching staff would be hesitant, and not just this coaching staff, but also the last one as well. 2 different coaches have come by and haven't really given Reichel the opportunity, but he hasn't really earned it either. So
yeah, he has no one to blame but himself in that situation. And like I said, this is another situation where the goaltending is just not good enough with the team. Mrazek's taken a clear step back.
Yeah.
He was, I guess, fine before the groin injury, but since then he has been the same. I thought he played well last night, but I mean, it's a dime a dozen games. Soderblom's been promising, but he still lets in the same goals he always lets in. I think the Nashville game was pretty indicative of that. But this is a roster that kind of just needs to chug through this season. If I'm the Hawks, I'm trying to get these top guys a bunch of points, guys like Bedard, Teravainen, and Bertuzzi, Funny enough, Seth Jones has 19 points in 30 games, but that's neither here nor there. I really don't have much to say about this team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we kind of spilled our guts that last podcast episode. I feel that was the best way we went through this team. It's so frustrating. Just again, this team is at the bottom of the barrel. Again, didn't expect them to be playoff team, but I was expecting more like, I don't know, 25th place than 32nd. Yeah, it's rough. It's frustrating when it's the middle of the season. Like there's not a lot to look forward to. Like we're gonna get to March. So there's gonna be a trade deadline. Like they're gonna make a couple trades, maybe like trade a Ryan Donato, maybe trade a Taylor Hall, and they're gonna get guys like Oliver Moore potentially from college or Sam Renzo. Like that's exciting, but it's not like anything like this team really like. You're not getting a Kale McCarr coming in to help this team make this team better or even just make it more watchable, and you're not getting another elite play driver to play with Connor Bedard. Like I don't even mind. Like I like them playing with Bertuzzi, Bedard, and Nazar together, but then I just feel like the rest of the lineup is just meh. Like Teravainen, Dickinson, Mikheyev, like that's a perfectly like if you can run that as your third line, I think that's a great third line. But the problem is that like I feel after that you have at best like maybe like another third line and then a fourth line. Like you don't have a second line. You don't have another guy. Like I don't even think they necessarily need like at this moment need like another. I mean, it'd be nice if they could get him an elite winger for Bedard, but I just feel if you could get another, like from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like the Canucks are trying to trade Pettersson, but I would still like do my due diligence on that because if they got a Pettersson, you're not even playing with Bedard, but you got two elite center, you got two elite play drivers, and you're not relying just on Bedard. Like that's gonna take a lot off his shoulders. So yeah, with this team, it just seems like you're playing whack-a-mole. Like when they were with Luke Richardson, they would sacrifice, like they would play defense, but then you're getting zero offense. You're playing dump and chase with a team that I don't think is made to dump and chase. They're just not that fast of a team. And then go to Anders Sorensen, he's opened it up a little bit, but then now you're kind of sacrificing the defense. And then when it's getting to like the third period and you're trying to open things up, you just get burned by teams, and then the scoreboard just looks worse than what it was under Richardson. Like all in all, it's still losses. It's frustrating. Like you want an instant fix. You want the Blackhawks to get a superstar. You kind of just almost want to fast forward to the draft already and see how that's going to play out. But that's not the reality. We've still got like 35 games left. Yeah. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, or we can move onto a different team that's actually doing well.
We can move on. I'm done talking about the Blackhawks.
Yeah, like do you even want to like entertain like the Seth Jones trading talk? Because I think that's something that could happen, but that's more of an off-season thing. Like there's no way that happens mid-season.
Nope, but anyone saying he can't get traded is lying to themselves. This is the NHL. This is a league where Jacob Trouba got traded when it seems like he was immovable to get traded.
And like didn't have to eat any money and got like what a third or fourth with back in nine. Like it's not an amazing trade, but like you got that money off your book. Like the Blackhawks could do that too. And I think Seth Jones is more valuable than Jacob Trouba. That's just me.
Well, yeah, but that's the point. Like contracts like that can't be moved. OEL was deemed immovable at one point. There's just these massive. Erik Karlsson was immovable at one point. Like these players can be moved and they have value. And like I just said, he's got 19 points in 30 games, and when he's not playing with the pylon, he's usually not terrible. So like. I don't know. Like if I'm a competitive team that needs a right-handed defenseman, I'm at least listening because the Blackhawks are going to have to retain, and if they don't retain, they're not getting shit in return. So, like I've said it time and time again, I'd retain $3 million in a heartbeat just to make that happen. It's not like you're going to use that $3 million anywhere else on anything besides Bedard. No one has earned a giant extension besides him. Because I know that was always the conversation. It's like, oh, well, they got to pay this guy. They got to pay this guy. Well, the guys that you would have to pay, one's in the AHL and the other one's got 4 points in 17 games. So I think you're good in that regard. But what do I know?
How many guys right now are like, yeah, we're going to be paying these guys like beyond 5 years? One, they already got locked up, which is Vlasic, and then the other is Bedard. Yeah, no one in this organization, like whether they're on the team right now or in the pipeline coming up, like a Frank Nazar, have like shown that they're going to be making like big money right out of the gate. Like they're going to be on their ELCs. And like, if there, like I've said this so many times, like if there is a reality where they just pop the fuck off and like make your team better, oh no, we might have to pay them the money. Like you figure that out down the road. I just with Seth Jones, like again, we're not in the locker room. We don't fully know what's happening. Just but from everything what I see, like why would Seth Jones want to be here? Like it's not even to be rude. Like, why do you want to be on a rebuilding team that's probably at least another couple of years away until we start talking playoffs? Like, he came here wanting to win a cup. And, like, that was the goal in the 2021 offseason. They got Seth Jones. You signed Jake McCabe in free agency. You go for Marc-Andre Fleury and Tyler Johnson. Like, those are the moves of a team that's at the very least trying to make the playoffs. And Blackhawks have come nowhere near close to sniffing that. So, like, as far as I've heard, Blackhawks haven't approached him about like moving his no trade clause, but I feel if Kyle Davidson did that, like right now, I feel Seth Jones at the very least would think about it and not say no. Like just kind of looking at teams that would like trade for Seth Jones, I don't think he's going to Canada. Maybe Toronto, maybe Edmonton. I don't think that's gonna happen. But like looking at the playoff teams that could be realistic, like Dallas, I'm pretty sure Dallas was one of the teams that was interested in Seth Jones. I don't know how you make the money work, but again, like retention,
Trading him
take
in
a
the
bad
division
salary
too.
back. Yeah. Yeah, like Vegas doesn't like LA, I feel could be an interesting one too. Maybe Colorado, I think had some interest with him in the past. I don't know. I think like out east, maybe like a Washington. I don't know. That's why I think this is a move that gets me in the off season because it's just so much money.
I think there's a handful of teams that could use a Seth Jones. It's just the idea of do they want to give up the assets for it?
Mm-hmm.
I think Utah could be in a position to do it.
Utah would be interesting, yeah.
Like you said, LA could do it. Washington could, if they don't re-sign Chychrun. I could see them entertaining it. They already, when you go down the list, I mean, there's just a couple of markets where it doesn't make sense. They have the right-handed shots that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo obviously would be interested, but like Buffalo's not getting another $9 million defenseman. It's not happening.
No.
Detroit, not happening. Seattle, maybe, but I don't see a world where they have the assets unless it's like Shane Wright going the other way, and I don't see that ever happening. So
imagine.
Exactly, though. Like there's no package where that makes sense. Obviously, financially, it makes sense in Seattle because you could dump a $5 million contract and then the salaries.
Oh, they have like if like I don't know if the Blackhawks would take back Grubauer, but like I feel that's what you would have to do to make a trade like that. You're taking a bad contract on, like you're more closer to probably like the Dubois for Kemper swap, where you're probably just like swapping bad contracts, especially if you want to get off that full $9.5 million.
See, I don't think it's that though, because like Dubois last year was half point a game and Kemper sucked. Like This is Jones' down year, and he's still on pace for 50 points if he played a full season. So he's got value. Like he's a right-handed shot locked up for 5 years. Like that in a vacuum is value.
Well, that's what I mean. Like in my mind, like realistically, like a normal thinking person would be like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to swap bad contracts. But then I'm like, I know how the NHL works. I see right-hand defenseman who is big and can skate, and I want to trade like good assets for him. So I'm kind of like almost like conflicted between those two. I'm like realistically thinking, like a normal person would think, oh, you're probably just swapping bad contracts, or you're probably gonna have to eat some money. But it's like, no, this is the NHL. Like, you cannot tell me that there are like even a couple teams out there that would take that full contract on and maybe even give the Blackhawks like something decent. Like, you're never gonna be able to get what you get for when you originally traded for him. But I still think like I don't even know like what a comparison would be for the Seth Jones trade, but like. You're not like the Erik Karlsson trade that happened a couple years ago. You're probably not getting that, but maybe like something close to that, like a second round pick and like a contract where it's a lot of money and like a couple years. I don't know. That's why
I think it's equivalent to the first Erik Karlsson or the Erik Karlsson trade to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like they're getting a first in return or something equivalent to a first. Like it's the NHL. It's not gonna be a good first, but
a first nonetheless. Hey,
exactly. Like in a vacuum, you just trade it for JT Miller and get it over with. But that's never going to happen because Seth's never going to Vancouver and JT's never going to wait to go to Chicago. But in a perfect world, that's the trade that happens, and it already happened.
Yep. I don't know if you have any like final thoughts on that, or we can move on to Seth Jones' former team, the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are in a wild card spot and like easily the biggest surprise of the year.
Columbus Blue Jackets?
Yeah.
Good team. Good team. They have a ridiculous amount of offense right now. I think this is a perfect example of sticking to your guns for a couple of years. And even then, they still traded assets. I mean, Juracek got traded, but it doesn't matter when Matejchuk is statistically one of the best defensive defensemen in the league right now in his short sample size, which is, I think, bonkers to even think about. But
Nutter Butters even.
Yeah, like Zach Rowinski's having a Norris caliber season.
Bro, screw the Norris. Like, he should be in heart consideration. Like, holy.
Agreed. They're getting like Marchenko's over a point a game. They have him locked up.
Monahan's point per game.
Voronkov's on pace for like 30 goals. Johnston, Sillinger, and Fantilli are taking steps.
Yeah. I had never heard of Voronkov before this year. Like, is he?
I heard of him last year.
Draft packs, yeah.
He was good in like November of last year. Like he finished last year with 34 and 75, but he started hot. He had like 10 goals in his first 30 games. So he's shown the signs, but his consistency is just taking a step this year. And what you want to know the crazier part? Voronkov's only played 37 games, so he's a lot closer to a point a game than the statistics would tell you. But
he's already going to matches like career high in points in like half the games, pretty much. Yeah, like that's crazy. Like that just shows you like how busy I am with my life. That like I can like it's harder to keep up with these. Fringe players even seems rude because like this guy seems like a top 6 piece at this point, but like 2019 4th round pick, I don't really remember him. He's 6'5" and 227 pounds, like 34 points in 75 games as like a rookie, like 23-year-old or whatever you've been. That's very good. And then just taking the step, 30 points in 37 games, like he's gonna like he's pretty much already beating his career high in points.
Remember the depth scoring conversation we had too? Like 11 players with at least 17 points. Like this is what we're talking about. They have 10 players with at least 7 or more goals. 11 with 6 or more if you want to throw Severson in there. Like they're getting scoring from all over the place, and that leads to, I mean, shocker, you score goals, you win hockey games, but like
what?
But like Sean Monahan's on a career. Like he's on his pace for a career high, which is 82 points, his career high. So we tie it, but he's got 41 and 41. So, I don't know. This team's just got a chip on their shoulder, especially with what happened in the offseason. They dumped off Line A. The Gaudreau situation occurred. Did not stop this team. Chinakov's got 14 and 21. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, they are just firing on all cylinders. This is a testament to it. This is actually hilarious. Like, the second Kekalainen leaves, all his picks are starting to flourish. Don't you just love it? Is Kekalainen going to get Dale Talon? This is going to be funny. Is Don Waddell going to get all the credit for this and he didn't do shit? Because that's what's going to happen.
You're kind of starting to see the fruits of like when they fired Jarmo Kekalainen last year, I'm like, yeah, they need to move on for him. But I said that there are worse situations in the NHL with Columbus. Like, all in all, I like what they have done. I just feel like they needed another like GM to kind of like guide them into this new era. And like, I don't know, like with all the head coaches that Jarmo Kekalainen went through, like John Tortorella, like I think it was like Todd Richards before, John Tortorella, and then like I don't even remember their names. I think it was Brad Larson and Pascal Vincent, and then
Brad Larson
trying Mike Babcock. Like if they just went with like Dean Evison was fired.
Hire a quality coach from the start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now that you've actually got a head coach who knows what he's doing, oh yeah, look at that. The team is performing well, and that's without a good goaltender. Like Elvis has an 890 in 29 games. Daniel Tarasov has a 872 in 12 games, and I'm pretty sure I saw something like they were on a 6-game winning streak, but they lost to the Rangers in a shootout, but it was 0-0. So he got his first shutout, and I saw Tarasov was the first goalie in NHL history to get his shutout via a loss, which I kind of found funny.
Welcome back,
Jet
Eddie Lack.
Greaves, who they called up, has played 5 games, has a 906 save percentage. So that's the best goaltending they've gotten so far. They're in a wild card spot without any kind of good goaltending, pretty much.
Dude, and look at the East. The East is crazy right now. You're 5 points from being in third. And you're
It's
5
so
points
wide
from
open
being
right
in
now.
10th.
Yeah.
Like it's wide open, and they're consistently winning hockey games. They're really good at home this year. 16-5-3 at home. 7 of their last 10. I think they have the most wins at home this year out of any team. Oh, Winnipeg, shocker. Vegas, shocker. They have the third most wins though, which is kind of nuts. Like they're up there with teams like the Capitals and the Hurricanes and the Leafs and stuff. Those are the teams you want to be with, but also like you look at a team like Florida. Florida is just consistent on home and the road. Like they're just so good. East is a crapshoot, but like goal differential, I always feel like is the giveaway of like where you're going to finish, unless you're Washington last season.
Yeah.
And Ottawa and Columbus are the only ones with positive goal differentials out of like that. CF
oh my god,
teams.
Boston has a -23.
Yeah, when they lose bad this year.
It's one of those weird things. Yeah, they lose horribly, but then like all the games they win are like 1-goal games.
Unless the Lightning, then it's 6-2.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boston's a team where I think they finally are meeting.
They're starting to show some cracks. Yeah.
It's almost like, putting duct tape on the flood for 5 years is finally going to start to show its rear end. And like, I feel like Pittsburgh's seeing a little bit of that too right now. Granted, like I think Rickard Rakell's on pace for 50 goals. So like they're still finding some ways to win games, but yeah, dude, Boston's finally starting to figure out that maybe David Pastrnak, you need a little more than just him, maybe
you even need to trade him to Chicago. I don't know. That's just me now.
Maybe giving Lindholm 7x7 wasn't the move, but who knows?
Yeah. I was like of the mindset, I'm like, okay, that contract is gonna like usually when you're signing free agents, it's like, okay, first 3-4 years we get like decent to elite production out of him, and then like, oh, we'll worry about the last 3 years. But we often see sometimes, remember the David Clarkson contract, that it was just horrible immediately, and it kind of seems like that's the case. Davey Clarkman. That's a throwback.
Davey Clarkman. What a guy.
But like there's also they're out of a playoff spot right now, but there's part of me I'm like they can still figure this out. But man, halfway through the year and they're out of a playoff spot right now.
Good. They're only gonna draft like Victor Eklund. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's right. They'll probably get like a good draft pick and then just reset everything.
No,
I kind of hope the Bruins do miss the playoffs because, like, man, if there were ever David Pastrnak rumors, god damn it, I would love him on the Blackhawks, as I think 31 other NHL teams would as well. And
he just got extended though. I guess Pettersson did too, but
yeah,
when's that stopped anyone?
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Darcy Kemper. But
yeah, like a lot of the old guard, like Boston's fallen off, Pittsburgh, the Islanders were good for a couple of years. Like
then there's Washington.
Yeah, yeah. I saw something ridiculous. Sorry,
I was like, with the best goalie in the league, that's not going to be on the Four Nations Canada team.
I was just going to say that, but at least Montembeault is doing fine. Oh, he let in, I think, like 6 goals last night against the Leafs. Yeah, I think I read something like they didn't even contact Logan Thompson for the Four Nations tournament, and want to take a guess at who the general manager is for that team?
Me.
Me. I fucking hate Canada. Fuck them.
No, sabotage them. I don't know. Kyle Dubas.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's part of the front office, but it's Don Sweeneyman.
Ew. Why is he? Yeah, because he's done so well constructing a roster this year.
Yeah, Sam Montembeau last night, 33 shots against, 27 saves. He let in 6 goals.
Dude, holy
Yeah, and
smokes.
from what I heard with like the Logan Thompson thing, they're like, oh, well, Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson weren't getting along in Vegas last year, and that's why Vegas traded him. Like literally, that would be the reason why I'd put the two together. Of like, I need goalies that need to light a fire under each other's asses. Like this is a short term.
You're facing Connor Hellebuck and Thatcher Demko. Lock the fuck in.
Yeah.
and Jake Ottinger's there for shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like realistically, like the U.S.'s like 5th best starter. Like a Thatcher Demko would be their starter easily, handily at this point.
Dude, I don't know how we do it, but can like the Blackhawks get an Alexei Protas, please? This guy's
Colton Dach, please. I'm pretty sure they went
tank. He's on pace for 30 goals and 30 assists. He's probably going to finish with a plus 40, and his analytics show that he's really good defensively too. Who would have thought? That's the kind of like if you could make a player in a lab to throw with Bedard, it's probably something of that nature. Obviously, it's probably Mikko Rantanen, but you know, in terms of like a more obtainable asset, you know what I mean? Like they need to like you said, Colton Dach or someone, Boisvert, someone of that nature needs to develop.
Sasha Boisvert would be a good one, yeah.
Yeah,
Boisvert at UND.
His stock keeps going up. Like I watch those UND games when I catch him on ESPN, and he's the best player on that team every time he steps on the ice.
Dude, he's the driver. He's the main driver of that team, and that's good to see because the Blackhawks need more.
He's driving the battle bus.
The battle bussy. Let's go.
Oh God, Brendan Battle Bussy.
Is that going to be? Is that going to be the
name
of the podcast? The battle bussy. I'm going to make it now.
Okay. To be fair, Alexei Protas is. So here's the thing: you have what I like to call the Brandon Hagel trajectory, right? Mm-hmm. Which is like, you know, it takes you like 5 years to get acclimated into the NHL. You have 1 year where it's like, okay, you're like half point a game, like you're going to be a player, and then you skyrocket, but you have a 25% shooting percentage. Which direction do you go from that point? Do you go the Brandon Hagel point, or do you go the Dominic Kubalik point? And I think, Alexei Protas is going towards the earlier.
I was going to say it's probably going more towards Brandon Hagel because, you know, he does other things without the puck.
Yeah. Where's Kubalik now? Switzerland? Get excited.
Probably, yeah.
Speaking of Brandon Hagel,
so funny.
49 points in 44 games.
It's funny looking at the Calder nominees from that year. It's like it's that picture of like the two like serious dragons and the one goofy one. It's like Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, two of the best defensemen in the NHL, and then here's a guy that's in Switzerland now and was traded like twice. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God! But yeah, a real one.
I'm like, we've talked about the Capitals the last few podcasts we've done, but I'm really just in awe of like how they've been able to build their team back together. Like a lot of the times when we're talking about the Jack, I was about to say the Jack Norris trophy. Like, no, it's the
my
Jack
favorite
Adams
trophy.
Like a lot of the times the coaches that win it or get nominated for, like, they're fired within 2 or 3 years, whereas I feel like Spencer Carter, and usually it's because like the team is like on some kind of like PDO bender. Look at the 13-14 Avs. No. To me, Spencer Carberry has legitimately got this like Washington Capitals team to be elite. They've got a great head coach. Like Alex Ovechkin is still Alex Ovechkin. He was out for however long. Like, it's the most Alex Ovechkin thing ever that at like 39 that he like broke his leg, only missed like a few weeks and comes back and he's still
goals.
Yeah, and he could very well like beat Gretzky's record by the end of the year. Yeah, from like the top down, like this is about as good as you can do a retool. Like I just realized like Brian McClellan isn't even the GM right now. Like they gave it to someone else. Like I think he went to like president of hockey ops or something. Like he's higher up now. Like he did all that work this offseason, and he's like,
Feels like promotion.
yeah, I'll give that to someone else. I don't know who it is, but
Man, Logan
yeah,
Thompson
like,
only has 2 regulation losses. Gee, I wonder who that one team is. That's crazy. Surely Ryan Donato didn't pants him with like 3 minutes left in the third.
oh yeah. There's a stat from Dmitry Filipovich where it's like, I think they haven't got like a 6 out of like a certain amount of points while he's been in net. I want to look that stat up so I don't butcher it.
Well, on the bright
But yeah.
side, the Blackhawks get to be the booger on Logan Thompson's cake. So this is great.
Preventing him from winning the Vezina, even though like Hellebuck has like a sub 2 goals against average and like a .930 save percentage.
Now this makes me interested because like I feel like Washington should be like running away with the Jennings, but like I feel like there's another team that's going off of goaltending.
I think Winnipeg probably.
I'm winning in your peg, bud.
Let's go.
Oh. Why can't I look at goalies? Man, this is great content.
Yeah. Oh, LA looks like.
Darcy Kemper resurgence. Get excited.
Hell yeah.
Jacob
Logan
Markstrom,
Thompson,
actually good.
Vezina nominee, and then Darcy Kemper, William and Jennings.
I got a new hot take.
What's that?
Is Philip Gustafson the new Pecorine? Or Sergei Bobrovsky, if you will?
Yeah, is he? Because what was it? 22-23 had a great year. Last year was bad, and then now he's back on his shit again.
Dude, it goes farther back than that. 2020, 2021, he had a 933 with Ottawa. 2021, 22, he had an 892. Then it was a 931. Then it was an 899. Now it's a 914. Welcome back, Sergei Bobrovsky. Yeah. We missed you.
Oh my God. We have a Russian goalie who did that, a Finnish goalie who did that. Now we got a Swedish goalie who did that. Boom.
Who's going to be the American to do it? Who's going to step up to the plate? I'm looking at you, Jake Ottinger.
Drew Commesso.
Oh, God. We don't have a goalie.
And then we get a Slovakian goalie to do it, Adam Gajan.
Jesus. And then we start every other game.
Yeah. Just rotate them. So I got the Dmitry Filipovich stat pulled up. Caps have gotten 44 of 50 possible points, and Logan Thompson starts this year. Crazy.
Gee, I wonder who those the 2 of those 6 points were. That's tough.
Who was the other team is the question.
It's the Blackhawks again. Just kidding. We couldn't beat them twice. That would just be too much. We got to let them off easy.
Yeah. We really just read out a ramble there. But that's fine. Yeah, we're starting to like see like a lot of playoff style games like that Colorado Edmonton game a few nights ago. Colorado went up 3-0 quickly, and then the Oilers stormed back and won 4-3. And then yesterday, crazy game between Ottawa and Boston, where I think Bruins went up 5-3, and then Ottawa came back to tie it and then went in a shootout.
Dude, Edmonton and Vancouver too, 3-2. And McDavid tried to murder Connor Garland.
Yeah, fun. I know.
Connor Garland really is always on the shit end of the stick with superstars. Nathan McKinnon threw a helmet at him. McDavid tried to rip his head off. Like, this guy is the ultimate shit stirrer. Holy shit. Welcome back, Dave Bolin. This is crazy.
Yeah, but I feel he embraces that, like a pig rolling in shit, Yeah, like so, I would do
AI,
that. Like,
please make Connor Garland rolling in shit. Jarvis, clip that.
Yeah, no. Connor.
Sorry, what?
I was gonna say, like Connor Garland, I think thrives for that stuff. Like he'll gladly do that. Like if that means getting McDavid suspended for a couple of games.
McDavid's getting suspended for like a game, probably. And he's got 31 points this year. Holy shit! How about that, Garland?
Yeah, damn. Yeah, like if only we had another player like that, but
JT Miller has the same amount of points. Patterson has less. Get excited.
Yeah, kind of a bum. Should trade him to Chicago or something.
Dude, once again, talk about depth scoring. The Canucks don't have it, and that's why they're not winning hockey games consistently. Like, I'm looking at their sheet. Quinn Hughes, rock star, 50 points in 41 games.
Norris, Hart, like, looking at the stats, there's so many, like, players. It's so wide open. Like,
for the
Hart, because there's so many good players.
Like, yeah, the Hart Trophy race is wide open though. Honestly, I don't think there's a distinct favorite.
There's like 10 guys you could list in there. I'll be like, yeah, okay. Like I see your argument for it. Like McKinnon, Draisaitl, Kucherov. I mean, you could always just throw McDavid in there. Like literally just looking at the top point getters, like Jack Eichel.
Eichel should definitely be in that conversation. Yeah, Kaprizov should, but
Connor Hellebuck,
Mitch Marner, 64 points.
Blackhawk, and Mikko Rantanen.
And Lane Hudson leads all rookies in points. Oh my god. Is Lane Hudson gonna lowbrow Macklin Celebrini in the Calder race?
I kind of think that'd be funny if that were the case.
He's got 3 goals and 34 assists. Dude, I just we talked about this last night. I can't stand that the storyline behind Lane Hudson is he doesn't play good defense, guys. It's like, listen, that was never what this player was going to be. This is never what Lane Hudson was going to be. At very best, I don't know. It's just like at very best, he's like Erik Karlsson. Like Erik Karlsson was never the best defensively. He never was, ever.
But he was good enough to a point where it's like, oh, that doesn't really matter because he gets all these points and has the puck on his stick most of the time he's out there.
Lit rally.
But, yeah, you're getting more of a Torrey Krug, maybe at worst, like Erik Gustafsson level defenseman. I mean, Erik Gustafsson has been in the NHL for almost 10 years now, and
dude, he's 6 in scoring with defensemen. He's got more points than Victor Hedman. Yeah,
I was gonna be like Erik Gustafsson. What?
Dude, I wish he's got more points than Adam Fox.
Ooh.
Also, back to Washington, Jacob Chikrin's going to shatter his franchise or his point record, and he's probably going to get 20 goals and 30 assists this year as a defenseman in a contract year. So that number starts with 9. Have fun.
Easily. Yeah, if I'm Jake Chikrin and his agent, I'm like, yeah, I'm at the very worst time. I'm as good as Seth Jones. Give me 9.5.
Also,
with the cap going up, I could see 10 million, and especially at his age and with the season he came off of. Yeah, I'd be asking for that.
100%. Also, Zach Werenski's winning the Norris. I'm looking at this it's a 3-man race, and if you look at the teams of Vancouver, Colorado, and Columbus, it's Werenski's. Werenski's getting his Revenant Norris. Get excited.
Yeah, except he's actually good.
Yeah, listen
here, pal.
Listen here, bucko.
Yeah, I know the award voters are very oh, let's not go for the same person because it'd be easy to vote Quinn Hughes because he won last year, and a Cale Makar. I think he's won. Has Cale Makar won twice? I feel he has. He's that good. He probably has. I feel voters would be like, yeah, let's give Zach Werenski a chance, and he's legitimately deserving of it too.
Yeah, I don't know how many Norrises he has. I think it's only 1. Yeah, he only has 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he won it in 2021, 2022, and then he won a Conn Smythe to boot. He was a finalist last year.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It's been pretty wide. That's the thing with the Norris Trophy lately. No one wins it back to back. They always.
Well, that's what I mean. Voters want. I think voters want to keep that. We rarely see repeats and award winners unless you're just that good. I think we'll see that with Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, Connor Hellebuck kind of just laps his entire competition, so you can't really give it to anyone else. Unless you want Logan Thompson's the only one that it is funny that Logan Thompson and Darcy Kemper are 2 and 3 on the save percentage list. I do think that's very funny. Spencer Knight's also been killing it too, but Olmark 2.38. That's crazy. Stolarz has been good. Saros has 4 shutouts on that crappy Nashville team. That's awesome. I love that.
Kevin Lincoln has 4 shutouts.
Dude. What could have been? Kevin Stankonen back on my hockey team.
Stankonen.
Get excited.
And Levi Merlinen on Ottawa has 2 shutouts in 9 games.
Dude, timeout. Mark Scheifele has 27 goals this year.
Really?
Holy smokes. Yeah, he's second in goal scoring.
This is my favorite part of the podcast is when we go through all these stats and just be like, what? This player has this amount of points, goals?
Dude,
this goalie has this save percentage and goals against average and shutouts?
Draisaitl leads the league in goals, but then it's a 4-way tie in second at 27. Point, Scheifele, Nylander, and Reinhart. Crazy
Nice
list.
QB.
Kyle Connor's got 26 goals too, dude. Man, imagine if the Jets could the Jets are literally the West Coast or the Western Conference Leafs. No one just talks about it because it's the Jets and no one gives a shit about the Jets.
Yeah,
Think about it.
Have the Jets really done that much better than the Leafs? Like, I know they made a conference
they've made the
finals
same
once,
amount. They've
but-
made they
yeah.
did made a conference final. You're right, but
like
never.
it's not even like it wasn't even like a 7-game. Like they've lost in 5. I'm pretty sure it was a gentleman's sweep against Vegas in 2018.
Sweet Jesus Christ, losers. Yeah, but like this is. I feel like last year should have been a wake up call that they just got smoked by the Avs. But once again, it's just wake up call time because if you don't win in the playoffs this year, that's you're gonna have some serious conversations. I feel like because you're probably getting Colorado in round 1, so get excited. Because actually, you might luck out and get like Vancouver, but no,
that'd probably be best case scenario for them.
Seriously.
And I wouldn't even take Vancouver that lightly if they somehow make the playoffs or like Calgary or something.
God, the Western Conference is literally 7 teams, and that 8th team is just going to be terrible. Oh my God. It's either going to be Calgary,
7,
Vancouver, or freaking St. Louis. Yuck.
Yeah, 7 Sears Dragons and then the 1 silly dragon.
Terrible. They're all silly dragons, let's be honest. Western Conference is a crapshoot. Wild West.
I think it's better than the East right now. Like I think the Cup's going back to the West. Well, that's what I think though.
Yeah, the East is just like they're going to be beating up on each other though going into the playoffs. I don't think the West is doing it that much. The West is like you'll have your tough competition, but then you're going to have the bottom half of the conference that you can spank consistently. The East, it's like outside of Buffalo, and even then, Buffalo keeps things competitive. Every team has a real shot at the wild card. So every game's going to count. So these teams are just all going to be like Florida 2 years ago. They're going to be battle tested going in. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, the Cup could go back to the West. I don't know who. I genuinely don't know who's winning the Cup right now.
I don't know.
I said
and that's kind of the fun part. Like, I like it when it's wide open. But man, I really think I know the Blackhawks beat them and they've lost 5 of their last 6. But there's just something about Vegas that tells me like they're well rested from losing in the first round. I think they're gonna go crazy at the deadline again as much as they can and win another cup. Like I could see them like going on like a 16-4 run to win the cup and just like saw through everyone.
Yeah, it could be another year where someone buzzsaws. I could see that.
You know what? Why don't we go like through like contenders and pretenders kind of list to wrap the podcast off. Like, let's go through the teams that are in a playoff spot right now for each conference and be like, are they like for real? Or are they fake?
But starting with Toronto, Boney. Next question.
Fake.
Jesus. All them
That's
out.
a throwback. Yeah. Toronto, if anything, like I have more faith in them than I have in previous years, which I don't think is saying a lot, but if this was the year for them to go deep, I think it is. Like I could see them go to a conference final.
God, I hope they play Columbus in the first round.
I hope they play Ottawa. I would love to see a Battle of Ontario. That would go crazy.
How many games has Matthews played this year? 32.
And he's still on pace for what, like 40-something goals.
Dude,
like
Marner's just like lapping all the competition in points. So like, this is crazy. He's gonna have over an assist a game this year.
Yeah, that'd be like crazy if he went to the free agency market or something.
God, please
Toronto,
stink it up in the first round again, please.
Yeah.
God, get swept by Columbus and just set. Honestly, a loss to Ottawa or Montreal in the first round would do it. So just let it happen.
If a Canadian team loses to a Canadian team, like that will be the breaking point. Like I feel if Toronto lost to like Florida or Tampa, you're like, another loss, not great, but yeah, if they lose to Ottawa or Montreal, it's game over, man. It's game over.
Never hearing the end of it. Oh my
No,
goodness.
like Ottawa could do nothing for like the next 10 years and they could throw that in their face. Like Montreal fans still do that when they were down 3-1 and came back to beat them, and I would do the same as well. But as it stands right now, I would call Toronto like a contender.
They're a contender. They just need
Yeah.
to do it when it counts.
Yeah. Like they could win the division in a very good division. So Florida Panthers, I think they're still a contender. I think they're kind of a sleeping giant. Like I know haven't been amazing. I think they have like a bit of the cup hangover. Like they've been playing a lot of hockey, but I still fully expect them to be a tough out once it gets to the playoffs. Like we might get Florida Tampa in the first round. Like that's gonna be a bloodbath. Like as it stands right now, I would love to see like Toronto on Ottawa, Battle of Ontario, Washington, Columbus would be fun. I think Florida, Tampa would again be a bloodbath, and New Jersey, Carolina, whatever. Like it'd be fun to watch, but it wouldn't be at the top of my list. Tampa I like better this year than last year.
Tampa's my top pick. I don't care. This is their 2015 Hawks year.
They could, man. They're so top heavy. Like if they're able to add a couple of depth pieces at the deadline, yeah.
Like
they're gonna be a tough out.
This is why I think it, because think about the way they won that first cup in 2020. They weren't deep. It was literally just Point and Kucherov and Hedman. It was so
top heavy. It was Kucherov, Point, and Hedman, and then you got like the odd goal from like Cirelli, and then you had Steven Stamkos like step in for one shift and score a goal.
Dude, they have a really good top six. Their top four can produce, and then they have depth scoring here, there, and there. If one or two of those guys can step up, if you can get some playoff magic from like a Connor Geekie or something, like you said, add someone, keeping. Like go find your Antoine Vermette. Who's to say you can't? And then I'm not like, I don't care what his statistics are. I'm never betting against Vasilevsky ever.
He's been better this year.
Yeah, he's had a year removed from that surgery, which helps. So I feel like we see that a lot of times with those major surgeries. It's not the first year back, it's the next year back, and they do well. Jonas Johansson still to acclimate this league. Jesus. Pitiful.
Is Washington a legit contender to you? Because I think like before I was kind of questioning, but like at this point, I think they're okay. I didn't realize they had this big of a lead. They have they're 9 points up on the Devils, and the Devils have played 2 more games than they have. And then Carolina is 10 points behind and played the same amount of games with the Caps.
They win, dude. They just win.
No matter what.
Win. Got money on my mind, and guess what? I can never get enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Caps are good.
They got it. I was gonna say like the easy way of like looking at a team if they're contender, they got like an elite goalie or good enough goalie. Yeah, you got that with Logan Thompson. Their defense, like not elite, but it's pretty damn good. Like Jake Chychrun, Matt Roy's been a good sign for them. John Carlson, like they're good. And then they're forward, yeah. Like you didn't have Ovechkin in your lineup for like a month and didn't skip a beat.
Facts.
What about New Jersey and Carolina? I'm more kind of
no. Man. Carolina needs to prove it, and it's been that way for 3 years now. Actually, 4 years. So no. And then New Jersey, we'll see. We'll see with New Jersey.
Yeah. I can't call them
Miller, which would be nuts.
That would help them a lot, but I can't call either of them contenders now.
Yeah. New Jersey's one of those teams where, like, I got to see it to believe it. I feel like both those teams, like, they're going to play each other in round 1, and we'll really see who wants to take that next step. But I don't know. Like I said, the wild card race is such a bloodbath. I feel like it's going to be one of those years whoever's in that wild card spot is going to earn it, and they're going to come in white hot to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at this point, Columbus and Ottawa are just like, we're happy to be here. And like Ottawa or like Boston could potentially make it still. Like I wouldn't fully count them out yet. And Montreal has been really hot like the past month. You never know.
Montreal just blew a 3-0 lead and lost 7-3 last night.
Yeah. there's that also. So I wouldn't be super confident, but you never know.
They're a team that I wouldn't want to play come round one. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Looking at the rest, I don't think Philadelphia makes it. Rangers, I don't know. Detroit, well, they are 21-20-4. With Todd McClellan, they've been on fire, so maybe they can sneak back in.
Hope so.
I guess we shall see. But like Pittsburgh, Islanders, Sabres, no. Go back to the West. Winnipeg, like, what weaknesses Winnipeg have? Because again, they got the goaltending, like they play a sound defensive game. Like you look at the offense, they're getting like Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele are at the top, and they're like, what does this team need to like finally take a step?
Connor Hellebuyck to not be a pumpkin come playoff.
I was gonna say not lay an egg in round one. Like, yeah, had such a good season last year. Then he had like a 5 goals against average, and then like an 850 save percentage or something crazy like that. Like it was not good.
Dude, they're healthy too. Like they have very few players that have missed time.
Yeah, like there's so very few like goalies that can just shut things down. But I think of like Andre Vasilevsky in 2021, and if the Jets can get anything close to that, they could go on a deep run easily.
For sure.
I want to pull up the stats from last playoffs because I know it was horrendous. Yeah, 523 goals against average and an 870 save percentage. Yeah.
Never going to win like that.
And then even the year before that against Vegas, 344 goals against average and an 886 save percentage. They need more of 2021 where he had a 223 goals against average, 931 save percentage, I think.
Facts. I agree.
What about Minnesota? They've been playing very well. I don't know if they're a cup contender, though.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not enough depth.
Yeah.
Not enough depth, and I don't trust Phil Gustafson come playoff time. I trust Kaprizov.
Yeah. But you need more than Kaprizov. He needs help.
What?
What?
I heard he was in
You need more than one player to win a Stanley Cup? Win a playoff round?
No, but like they really are a one-line team. Like Kaprizov, Boldy, and Rossi all have 40-plus points, and then Zuccarello has 33, and then the drop-off goes to 20, 20, 17, 16, 16. Like it's just they don't have enough depth scoring. Like obviously you can go trade for someone. Like this is a team that like I think a JT Miller would do wonders for because he's in depth, and they're getting so much cap space this offseason because the buyouts from Parise and Suter are finally ending. But you know, this is a team that like they're going to have to play their style of hockey if they're going to win in the playoffs, and that requires Phil Gustafson to be an elite goaltender. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And if they could play that suffocating style where every game's like 2-1 or 3-2, yeah, they're probably going to have a good shot. But if that top line's locked up and you play a good, strong defensive game against it and force like Frederick Gaudreau to be your top scorer, they're not going to win.
I mean, he did that in 2017 once upon a time, but that's like 8 years ago now.
Dude, that was 2 presidencies ago.
Yeah, for real. That was in Trump's first term.
Exactly.
Vegas is a cup contender to me. Like at this point, it's my favorite. It's them or Edmonton. Like Edmonton's been so good as well. Like not just scoring goals, but also like defending. And like their goaltending has been good enough, and that's all they really need. LA is interesting to me because I thought they were going to be a team that's fallen off, but we might see Edmonton, LA in the first round for the 4th year in a row again. I don't know if I think LA is a legitimate cup contender though. Like I don't know if I can see them going all the way. Like I feel they need more offensive punch because again, they're kind of like Minnesota. They play very like good, like structured hockey. I know that because the Hawks struggle against both those teams mightily. They just need more offense, I think. They got the goaltending from Kemper.
Yeah, I think if they could add one more forward, that'll be more beneficial for them. But dude, how many times have we talked about this? They keep running into the buzzsaw known as Edmonton. Like it's just this is the reality.
And I don't think it's gonna change. Like I think Edmonton could beat them again.
They will beat them again. Like Dude, LA is not built to beat Edmonton as much as they have
No.
tried to build themselves to do that.
And it's
They're
gotten
not-
worse too. Like first year was game 7, second year game 6, last year it was 5 games only. Like at this
Getting
rate, it's gonna
swept
be a
this
sweep.
time. Get excited. Jesus. Like that. And I like the way LA's built their roster. You know what they need?
Mhm.
They need Seth Jones. Seth Jones
They-
loves playing the Oilers.
Man, Seth Jones traded for Kevin Fiala. Let's do it. I don't think
Oh,
Fiala's
I'd do
having a
it.
great year.
25 points,
Oh, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, like
15 goals, 10 assists. He'd get more than that on the Hawks. Brant Clark's got 23 points this year. That's quiet.
wait, who does sorry?
Brant Clark finally actually
Oh,
producing
let's
in the
go.
NHL. I know they haven't had Doughty all year either, which is kind of cool that they've done this well.
Is he supposed to be back? Or
I
is he
don't
out the
know.
whole year?
I don't know if he's out
Yeah,
the
I
whole
don't
year.
know.
I know he had like major surgery though on his lower body. I just don't know.
Because
what-
Doughty has been like still like a top pairing defenseman. Like I don't think he's still number 1, but like he still can eat minutes.
They're
and still
top
can
pairing
be very
defenseman.
effective. Yeah,
But yeah, this is a team that once again, if Kemper shows up to play, they're going to give Edmonton a run for their money. And you know,
Yeah.
Edmonton has John Klingberg now, so might as well just
Let's
roll the
go!
Stanley Cup over there.
I mean, like it's such an Edmonton move, but like I still think it's a better than move than like I don't know, like trading like a first for like David Savard or like Rasmus Ristolainen or something or whoever's on the market right now.
You do it for Seth Jones. Seth Jones would love Alberta.
Hell yeah, he would. He would love taking
Nah.
walks around the North Saskatchewan River. Hell yeah.
I'm just kidding. Because, you know, I look at Edmonton's goal scoring. I look at, you know, what they need going in. And you know what they need? They need secondary scoring. You know who would be great for secondary scoring for Edmonton?
Dylan Holloway.
Well, yeah.
Broberg
I was thinking the
even.
same team. You know, they've already traded with them once, so might as well just go get Stan Bowman's favorite player. You know, Brandon Saad's available.
You're so right. You're so right. You would be a
Dude.
good fit too. Like, yeah, you'd be perfect. Yeah, that's
Honestly,
that's
like-
happening now.
Dude, if Edmonton can go get like Colton Parayko, it'd be huge.
Alberta boy, I'm pretty sure he's from St. Albert, Fort Mac.
Oh my
He
god,
played-
Parayko and Saad for Bouchard. Get so fucking excited. Holy shit. I just
Saad-
foresaw the offseason.
Stud for Bouchard, I would just end it. I would just expire.
Oh my
That'd be
god,
it.
please, Bowman.
That'd
I
be the
need you to
final
start
straw.
doing
That'd
normal
be my
Bowman
13th
things.
reason.
Let's just mess up. Please, I need it.
Oh my god. Colorado, I think they're a pretender as like again super top
Online.
heavy. Like Nate McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Cale Makar could win them a round or two, but I just don't know if it's enough to win the cup. And I still don't really trust their goaltending, though Blackwood has been better than Gorgiev. But I feel I could have been better than Gorgiev. Sorry.
Nathan McKinnon's on pace for 100 assists.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah.
And then Casey Middlestat's in the doghouse as their fourth leading point getter. So
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
really crazy. They should trade him for Seth Jones.
they really have had health issues. So like Girouard's a point a game, but he's only played 14 games. And then Chushkin's got 21 and 17, but that's a whole other thing. Lekkonen's got 26 and 35, so he's missed time.
That's
Like,
still
it-
good. Yeah, they just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, it's all health, honestly. Besides their, top three, which are just world beaters. God, if they don't re-sign Rantanen, please. Just let it happen. Just let it happen, please. But what's crazy is like the Avs still have 8 people with at least 10 goals. Like it, yeah. It's ridiculous.
Dude, it's more. It sounds like they just need to stay healthy. Like if they stay healthy, shit, maybe they are a cup contender.
That's the team I don't want to play round one. Let's just put it that
No.
way.
Especially if they're like a wild card. And
Dude, throw
I just-
Colorado in the Pacific against Vegas and Edmonton.
I was just gonna say that, like, as it stands, right? Like, we went over the East matchups. As it would stand in the West right now, Winnipeg versus Calgary, which whatever.
Gross.
Vegas
Calgary just
versus
beat them.
Colorado. Vegas, Colorado would be so much fun. Like Minnesota, Dallas, meh. And then Edmonton, LA is Edmonton, LA.
Dude, I think
I've
if
seen this
Vancouver can
movie
get their
before.
heads out of their ass and we can get Vancouver, Edmonton, be a fun time. Or not Vancouver,
Again,
Edmonton,
that'd
Vancouver,
be
Winnipeg,
fun again. Mm-hmm.
be fun. I think the people would like that.
Yeah. Well, you gotta go soon, so let's wrap it up. I think that's a good place to end things off. Do you
Gotta
have any
wrap
closing
it
words?
up. Anyways, Lightning are getting the third cup. Eat shit. All of them.
Do you think
yes.
I think
The
this
Lightning
could
are
be
a plus 39. What the fuck?
I think this could be the year we get Vegas Tampa. We never got Chicago
God,
and
please let it
Pittsburgh,
happen. It should have
but
happened
I
twice
think
already.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing with Chicago and Pittsburgh. Like, I think it was 2009. Blackhawks could have faced the Penguins in the Cup final, lost to Colorado. 2013, Penguins just get curb stomped by the Bruins when they should have faced each other. And then like, what was it? Twice, like the 2 years Tampa won the Cup, Vegas lost in the conference final to fucking Dallas and Montreal. And then when Vegas finally won their cup, and no, in 2018 too, Tampa should have beaten Washington and should have been Vegas. Like 3 times this should have happened already. Maybe we'll finally get it this year.
It really should have happened 3 times or 4 times now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Well, this will be the 4th time, but
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Can't wait for Columbus versus Calgary in the Cup final. The Sean Monahan Bowl. Get excited.
The Monahan.
Actually, the Johnny Gaudreau Bowl. Let's be honest.
Yeah, real. It was nice to kind of just talk about the NHL as a whole and not so much as the Blackhawks, because honestly, the Blackhawks aren't that interesting and they kind of suck. So it's
the only
nice
thing
to
that's
talk about teams that are doing
is keep Frank Nazar and Bedard together forever. Forgot to mention that earlier.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that line of him and Bertuzzi and Nazar. Just keep that together for the rest of the season. Let them create chemistry.
I fuck with that line. Yeah, I fuck with that line.
Anders Sorensen in the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just get like Mikko Rantanen, and then everything's fixed. Like hell, even go get Mitch Marner. Like, yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh,
all right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Give our podcast a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform. If you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button, smash it if you will. Same with the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out anything. So yeah, for Pierce and Dylan,
thank you for joining Lunchtime at Smosh.
Yeah. Oh no, Ian is dead.
Oh no, Pierce is dead. Well, y'all have a good day.
So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we shall talk another time. We officially got the sillies now. Peace out, y'all.